In this episode, we're going to take a look at how I went from doors that look like this to doors that look like this. Let's go. Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be looking at how I reskinned these doors. So we're probably not going to get all of it done in this episode. I'm actually Rob from the future. By the way, I'm Rob. This is Rob's Garage YouTube channel. This is my 1969 XW Falcon, which I'm restoring myself. I don't have any trade skills or anything. It's just a guy doing it in his garage. I reskinned these doors using the original door frames. We're going to look at that. We're probably going to get about halfway through the job of getting the doors prepped. Some of the footage I lost and I don't have some of the endings, so I'm going to take some photos and put them in and I'll do a talk over it. But this is some footage that I did quite a while ago finishing these doors off. We're going to look at that in this video, so stay tuned, get yourself a drink, and we'll see you further on in the video. Today we're looking at this rear door and we're going to take the skin off it. Now if you've never been here before, first time at the channel, my name's Rob, this is Rob's Garage. I have a 1969 Australian Ford Falcon that I'm rebuilding. I've never done this before, I'm learning on the go. And I'm reskinning this door, which means we're going to take the skin, the original skin off, and I'm going to replace it with an aftermarket skin because the door is in need of some repair and it's going to be easier to repair it with a new skin than spend the time cleaning rust, etc. off this. We'll have a quick look at it, then let's have a look at how I'm going to get this skin off. Now this door, I'm going to take the skin off and clean it up because I think it's okay. So normally what you would do is unpick or find your spot welds here, undo them all, or drill them out and lift this up and basically pull the skin off. Now because I've got no intention of using the existing skin on the rear door, I'm actually going to use a different method, which essentially is get an angle grinder, grind this edge until it splits, and then basically just pull the skin off from the top and then come back and take the remaining underside off the inside of the door, unpick it all and just take that off and then clean the actual door shell. I've kind of cheated already because I've already started taking the skin off, but I'll just give you a look, but you can see why this is no good. It has some rust here, it's got some holes, it has rust in this corner, and has some damage on the panel here. The top of the door skin is actually okay, but it's mainly from here down. Alright, so yeah, there's a bit of damage here. There's rust in the bottom of the door. The door is actually relatively good. But you know, there's still some rust around here and that sort of thing. So I decided to, rather than repair all this damage in the door, we'll actually just take the whole skin off and replace it with a completely new skin. Might be hard to see, but you can see there's some damage here where it's been swiped. So yeah, I mean, new skin is $380. The amount of work the time it takes to do this for me and clean the inside of the skin and stuff is just not worth the effort. I'd rather just replace it with a new skin. So let's take this skin off. So to do this, I'm just going to use this Makita grinder. Pretty simple 4-inch grinder. It's just got a grinding stone on it, and that's basically all I'm using. Now to do this, all I've really done is run around the edge of the skin, and you can see the bottom part of the skin or the inside of the door, and then you've got the top part of the skin here. I've just got a little bit more to do to get all the way to this top corner, but the rest of the skin is already ground off all the way around. You can see, starting to see what the inside of the door looks like, which, yeah, a good reason why deskinning your door is a good idea. All right, so we have got most of the skin off. I have got a bit of a problem here. I don't know if this is a factory thing, but it looks like there's a weld here and a weld here. It looks like someone's done a bit of weld in this corner, so I'll have to look at cutting that. Boy, looking at that door when I first pulled that skin off and having a look at that again, that's crazy how much dirt and stuff is in there. So I'm really happy that I did do that. And the doors actually come out pretty good. But anyway, there's still more to look at. Stick around, let's keep going. Okay, here I just wanted to show you a bit of rust that I had to cut out. It was rusted on the side of the door, so I'm just showing you that. I did put some rust seal here, just to give you a heads up of what's going on. I've welded a patch into the door. Let's have a little look. It's kind of ugly before you grind it back, but let's have a look at what that looks like. Okay, so here is the repair. As you can see, this is still pretty fresh, still a bit warm. Just patched it all up with little tacks all the way around. You kind of see the piece that was in there actually ended up cutting a little bit more because it was cracked. But this is kind of how it originally looked. So it was all rotted there, rusted on the back. And we'll grind it down now with a angle grinder. Let's have a look at how it's come out so far. There's probably a few pinholes that need to be welded up, but otherwise I think it looks pretty good. Let's have a look. So here we go. You can see in here, it's a little bit of a low spot there. Probably a little bit of grinding I need to do here, but otherwise it's actually looking pretty good. Might just a few little pinholes here I've got to clean up. Otherwise I'm really happy with that. Freaking awesome. For me to have a really good go at cleaning up some of this rust on the door, that's the kind of pitted rust that you get when you clean off all the surface rust and you end up with some pitting where the rust is. I wanted to try a sandblaster, because this is what we're trying to get rid of. Okay, so for this job, trade tools, I bought this, $219. It's a portable sandblaster. Alright. Let's get this out, put it together and take a look. Okay, so we've got all the pieces. It's time to put it together. Alright, so there's quite a few instructions in the manual for assembly, but a lot of it actually is already pre-assembled, so I'm not really sure. Maybe previously it wasn't all assembled, but a lot of the piping and everything was already done. The only thing I've really had to do is put the arms, the handles on, and the little foot on the bottom, and connect the hose, which I'm about to do. But the rest of it is already pre-assembled. Alright, so one of the only few things left to do is connect this hose onto the bottom here. So if we have a look down here, there's a hose connection there. We'll have to connect that to the hose. And then there is this connection here for your air line. It does already have an water trap, which is good, but it doesn't have a barb for the airline. So if you have it fitting, you might have to buy a fitting to fit in there, an adapter, whatever you want. This is an adjustable one I just had sitting around. I'm going to see if I can get that in there. I don't have one to screw straight onto that, so I'll see. Okay, so here's where I've sort of lost some footage of what I was talking about and just rushed through actually doing the work. But here, I actually just tested it out in my garage, which is a terrible idea. I just wanted to see what it looked like. Here you can see what it looked like previously, or the other door. This is the front door, I believe, by looking at that. You can see it's quite rusted, so sandblasting is really the only way to get a good clean on that. But I did do that in my garage, and it was an absolute freaking mess, so don't do that. We'll have a look shortly at what I kind of did to mitigate that, but the sand just ends up absolutely everywhere, and it is chaos. It just ends up everywhere. Ended up in my garage rails, and I had to do a lot of cleaning. What I ended up doing was buying this little tent from Vivor, or a little, I think it was a spray, it was supposed to be a spray painting thing, but I actually used it to do some sandblasting, so I just set that up in my garage, and it did a lot better job at keeping the sand contained inside the actual little tent rather than just letting it go everywhere. Now, because it is open at the front, it did let some of that dust out, so it's still quite a bit dusty, but it was significantly better. There is quite a lot of cleanup though when you do sandblasting, so yeah, do it at your own risk, and you know, just for what I was doing, it was good enough. But yeah. Okay, here you'll just see me doing some sandblasting just to give you an idea what this looks like. The sandblaster probably needs a whole video of its own. It was a bit of a bit of work to do that. But yeah, anyway, let's move on. Okay, here we can see there's a whole piece missing of that door, so that was all rusted, and I decided to just cut the whole thing off. It was the easiest way. I found a piece that I could just weld in there, looked at some scrap steel that I had kind of the shapes I needed to kind of replicate what was originally there, and just started to tack that in. Then I created another piece to actually fit into that shape to align with how the door originally was, so that's a new piece that I'd cut out. Just made that sort of fit into that shape, done a bit of bending and stuff just to get it to look right. Started tacking it in, got my little magnet there, as well as a bit of copper there, and then also how it looked on the opposite side when you turn the door over. And yeah, and just kind of what the end repair looked like. Still a little bit of work to do there, but overall really happy with how that ended up looking. And you can see the door there after it's sandblasted, the repair's actually done, you can see that there. But yeah, come up pretty good from being sandblasted compared to how it was originally. Okay, so that pretty much is going to wrap it up for this episode. We're going to have to continue on another one. I don't want these videos to be too long. So we will pick up where I finished off. Like I said, there is some footage that I did lose, so I'm not going to have everything. And because of that, in the end, I just ended up moving forward because I lost a hard drive and whatever. So I'm just trying to catch up and get to a point where we're going to get some fresh footage, and I'll start to have a bit more of what I've done and have a bit more of the entire end-to-end process as best I can. But as you can see, the doors are done. Pretty happy with it overall. Coming up good, still on a learning curve. But yeah, let's stick around if you want to see the rest of the doors in the next episode. And thanks for watching, and yeah, take care, and we'll see you on the next one. Cheers.